Hey guys, so today the next step I want to show you, the previous um, video was about doing the works cited and the parenthetical or in-text citations for your research cards that'll go into your paper. And what I have here is I have some direct quotes that I can possibly use in my essay as my evidence, but I can't always use direct quotes. There are times, truthfully, most times you want to use paraphrase quotes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself an alternate over here. I'm going to paraphrase these, and I want to show you how to do it. And you'll do this with your own research cards. Is I'm going to try to paraphrase what's said here. Now, sometimes I can't paraphrase it because there's no way for me to possibly put it in my own words. Also, sometimes in my paraphrase quote, I'm going to have some parts of it in quotation marks because it's not, it just can't be put into my words. All right. Now, don't forget. So a paraphrase quote is going to sound like my voice, not anything like the original voice. It's going to be in my own sentence format. I can't go through and just, oh, let me put this in like, oh, I'm going to just exchange and do a synonym for each word. And then also I need to make sure that it's understandable and I don't take too much away from it either. Like the meaning should be the same. Now I have some stuff here, like this is very, very scientific, and it may be something that I might have to keep a lot of it when I go to paraphrase it. Some of my other quotes are a little bit more opinionated, and so I'm going to probably put these, now this is, especially when I get down to here where I have a website that talks about how the world can be changed permanently by this event. Also, you'll notice in some of my stuff, when I did the direct quote, if they were quoting something within the quote, I can't have double quotations and then double quotations, so I changed their double quotations to the single quotation marks. And if that quote had a quote, I'd go back to double. So it goes back and forth. Okay. So let me go ahead and show you how this is going to be set up. I'm going to do let me start down here because these are going to be the easier ones for me because they are more opinionated to put into my own words. And then I'm going to go back. I'll pause the recording, finish all of them up, and you can see my finished product. Okay, so one of the things I do is, okay, I'm going to read the quote. I need to understand what they're talking about to be able to paraphrase it. If I can't paraphrase it, then I don't really understand what they're talking about. And I really shouldn't be using any information I don't understand in my research paper. Okay, so the comfort of being in the presence of others might be replaced by a greater comfort with absence, especially with those who we don't know intimately. Instead of asking, is there a reason to do this online, we'll be asking, is there any good reason to do this in person? And might need to be reminded and convinced that there is. Okay, so I want to say I need to add like something to introduce it. So I'm going to say, according to the article, coronavirus will change the world permanently. I want to make sure I don't misspell it. I'm probably still gonna. Here's how. The world and our interactions will change the way we think. Let's see, the world, okay. So the way we see the world and our interactions with each other will be changed. We will no longer shy away from online communication. greater comfort. I want to keep those words with absence. Okay, so I'm going with this, and then we'll begin as the author states, we will begin asking ourselves when going to a meeting, is there a reason? Is there a good reason? Any good reason. I want to make sure if I'm using one of their exact words to do this in person. Which will change the look of many workplaces. All right, and so I'm going to put my parenthetical citation. Now remember, since I did this in my references, I can just come up here and just click references, insert citation, and Politico magazine, and it'll automatically put it there. I just need to add the period, so that way you don't have to write it. Okay, so I've used some of their words, but I'm paraphrased it. I put it my own. This is my own feeling behind it. It's not exactly like theirs, and the idea is still there without me, taking their idea. Okay, so let me do another example, and then I'll do the others without. I'll do the others off screen, and then I'll come back. When all is said and done, perhaps we will recognize their sacrifice as true patriotism, saluting our doctors and nurses, genuflecting and saying thank you for your service, as we do for military veterans. Okay. This quarantine, this epidemic may change the way we see our doctors and nurses. We can begin as the author states, we may begin to salute our doctors and nurses, genuflecting and saying thank you for your service. Just like we do to our military and first responders. Okay, again, reference Politico. It's always better to have, if anytime you're in doubt, you use the in-text citation. Usually we don't have them sentence to sentence, so like I might end up using these because they're on the same topic. I might use them in the same paragraph right next to each other, and maybe I'll just need the one, but it's better to have, you don't necessarily need an in-text citation for every sentence, but when I go to set up my actual paper in my outline, then I'll be able to say, okay, I can take away this one if I end up using them back to back, the paraphrases. And so, so perhaps too, we will finally start to understand patriotism more as cultivating the health and life of our community rather than blowing up someone else's community. Maybe the demilitarization of American patriotism and love of community will be one of the benefits to come out of this whole awful mess. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and paraphrase it. So you guys aren't watching me to paraphrase everything. We'll come back in just a second, and I'll have everything done. Okay, so I have been able to paraphrase all of the quotes that I have that I want to use. You'll notice if you look, and I'll go ahead and put this in there with my research cards, my completed research cards with paraphrasing. You'll notice that sometimes I just had to keep some of the words, but I went ahead and put it into quotation marks so people know that they are not my words. Also, just a quick grammar lesson right here. So the reason that my period is on the outside of the quotation marks is because this whole sentence is not that quote. It's just it happens to be a part of a quote that ends at the end of the sentence. And same thing with the comma right here. So just know that now if this was a whole thing, except for the fact that normally if I didn't have a parenthetical citation or in-text citation afterwards, I would have a period right there for a quote. But since I don't, since I need to put the period after the in-text citation, that's why it's there. But it's just those little things that some people focus on a lot when they're grading papers. Anyway, so I went ahead again and I paraphrase each one. When I'm working on my outline, I'm going to try to use these as my evidence versus trying to use the direct quotes. So I'm going to try to just use my paraphrase quotes because these are my own words, and even though it is a research paper, you need to sort of show your research. You don't want it just to be this collection of quotations. Notice again that even though I put it in my own words, and it didn't matter, even if I didn't take any pieces from the original, I have to have this in-text citation or parenthetical citation at the end of it. This is going to let people know, because this is not my information. I didn't do this study. This is not my opinion. Even if it's something I agree with or maybe knew ahead of time, I still have to give the parenthetical citation and show where it came from. Okay, so remember for the research cards, I'm like 3 to 5 resources. I only have 3 on my own, and I may end up having, as I go to my outline, say, oh, I need to find another resource. If I do need to find another resource, I'm going to put it in here. I'll add it to my 4th, and if possible, my 5th source, if I need more sources to be able to say what I want to say. Okay, we have to be very careful with that. All right, so that's it for this one. And the next one will be, so hopefully you'll be able to do your own argumentative digital research cards at this point. Remember, you are allowed to use websites, but they need to be reliable. And from here, my next step is going to be my outline.